Yeah, I mean, week 0 was great. It's great to have, football that actually means something back. Started out amazing with really great game between Illinois and Nebraska. Um, the rest of the games not very close, but we'll still take it because having bets placed on most of those games, we're rooting, either for or against the over under or the spread. So it's gives something to look forward to there. Got to toot my own horn a little bit. What was I think down 7-2, 7-3 with my picks that I made for week 0 on the last episode. Yeah, kind of got bit by that Illinois Nebraska over under, but other than that, I think the only thing I got wrong was Hawaii. Man, I totally underestimated how terrible Hawaii is. Not how good UCLA is, because I mean, man, their quarterback DTR, he's never been able to throw the ball. First half he was 4 for 10 for 40 yards. They were up 31-3 at halftime. Finished the game, I think 10 for 20 with like 100 yards and a touchdown. I'm not worried about UCLA at all. I think they're gonna be very mediocre this year. I think from that game, my takeaway is I think Hawaii's just not good. I think I overestimated Hawaii. Well, I mean, school probably hasn't really started yet. That's the thing. They do. Yeah, I don't know. Minnesota's always had a law where schools don't start until after Labor Day. So, and then you get a long weekend. Yeah. Yeah. That's not even the worst part. The worst part is his hat. Oh, the hat's terrible. Well, and his shirt today was ugly as fuck. I mean, dude's like trying to look like a fucking idiot out there. I don't know. Way better than I'll ever be at golf, but he still looks like a fucking idiot. Looks like a tool. I believe it was either 4 or 5 straight holes that he had a putt that would have sealed him the win. I guess the first one technically wouldn't have sealed it, but hole 17, 18, and then the first like three holes of their playoff, which by the way went six hole playoff until Cantley finally beat him. Yeah, Bryson just he kept setting himself up to win hole after hole, and he could not make a game, like could not hit a round clinching putt to save his life. Obviously, the biggest the biggest thing that comes along with that is now Cantley going into the Tour Championship. He's going to have that number one seed starting at 10 under. Bryson's dropped down to number 3, would have been number 1, and Cantley would have been 3 if Bryson had won. So I mean that's a 3-stroke advantage right there that Cantley's got at the Tour Championship because of this. Yeah, I mean, I for one hope he, continues his struggles into that, but I just very much dislike Dechambeau, and that's putting it lightly. Can't stand the dude, you know that. Man, you got an hour or two. Okay. No. I was gonna say you got an hour or two. I'll explain to you like everything I hate about him. Um, but either way, uh, looking at the Tour Championship coming up, I mean, some value picks I see betting wise. You got John Rahm. I think he'll have really good value. I think he's starting at 6 under, so 4 strokes back. That's a good one. I like Morikawa. I mean, he'll be at 3 under, so he's 7 strokes back. But I wouldn't hesitate to take like Morikawa top 5. I'm big on Morikawa. I don't know. I'll have to look more into more of that. But at first glance, at the top 20, those are kind of the 2 value picks I like the best right now. The the only way they're ever going to be playing together is if they're playing in the same matchup Saturday or Sunday. So their scores are going to have to align for them to ever be paired together. Which man, I do hope we can at some point get a Sunday matchup where they're in, the final pairing, or, one of the last couple pairings where, there's a win on the line. And Actually, if I'm three strokes behind going into Sunday, and these two are 1 and 2, and they got to play together, I'm loving my position right there because they're both going to be in each other's heads. They're both probably going to play terribly, and that seems like perfect situation to overtake them. on a Sunday, with a lead. And now have you seen these tournaments though? I mean, since they started letting fans back in, man, there's so many people at these golf tournaments. I think you severely underestimate. I think you underestimate how many people watch golf. Maybe. Oh, I saw that. Man, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know anybody who had that on their bingo card or whatever for the first score of the season to be a safety. That's like that one Super Bowl that like the Seahawks Broncos where the first score was a safety. And it was like plus 20,000 or something if you bet on the first score to be a safety. I'm like, just some casual 200 to 1 odds or something like that. I don't know. No, no, it was depending on the book you had, it was anywhere from like 52 and a half to like 55 was over under. It was close. Yeah, it was real close. Yeah, really bad if you had it at if you took over 52 and a half, you're really pissed because or what final score was 30-22, right? Yep. And Nebraska's kicker missed 2 extra points that game. So if you had 52 or 53 and a half, you are pissed about that. I personally had over 54 and a half, so it didn't really affect me. Didn't matter. Would have lost that either way, just barely set by that one. But I mean, man, we we were that the game got off to a very slow start and then it kicked into gear. But I think it's funny. Scott Frosty's been all like, "Oh, I'm bringing Nebraska back. Nebraska football's back." Sorry, Scott Frost. Nebraska football not back. Scott Frost has the third worst winning percentage out of any Nebraska coach ever to have 3 or more seasons. So you know what? I think Scott Frost, I think you're wrong. I think you did not bring Nebraska football back. I think you guys still are just a dumpster fire. Nebraska football will be back when Texas football is back, which is who fucking knows. Although I think Texas will be back first, but maybe, I don't know, hard to say. Well, and go ahead. I was just going to say, I mean, they're starting quarterback going down in the second drive of the game or whatever. Yeah, I mean, Illinois just ran their game. I don't think their identity really changed with the backup quarterback. I think they were going to try to just run the ball a shit ton regardless. I do want to say, realize I made a slight slip up in the last episode. Lovie Smith out as the Illinois coach. Brett Bielema, longtime Wisconsin coach, and he went to Arkansas for a few years and kind of failed there. Then spent a couple years under Belichick in the NFL. Came back to college football, staying in the Big Ten with Illinois. Just wanted to clear that up. I realized I made a mistake on the last episode. No longer Lovie Smith, but yeah, man. I mean, I think Illinois, I don't want to say they're going to be like, they're definitely not going to be a contender in the Big Ten, but I think they're not, they're not just like a pencil and win like they have been in years past. No, I think Hawaii is just dog shit, and I wasn't expecting that. And that's how I had this game pegged wrong. Yeah, no, their quarterback, Dorian Thompson Robinson, DTR, he can't throw the ball. I mean, he's been there. This is I think his third year as their quarterback. He hasn't been able to throw the ball. I don't know why anybody would expect anything to miraculously change this year. He's a terrible passer. He's fast. He's like, he's like Lamar Jackson, who can't throw the ball very well. Like he can run all over you if you need to. I mean, if he needs to. He didn't really this game. I think the biggest story was their running back. transferred from somewhere. I can't remember where he transferred from. But they're starting running back, 6 carries, over 100 yards, 3 touchdowns. Doesn't get much more. Doesn't get more efficient than that. And that's why I think it's Hawaii. Like no Power 5 team is going to let you run on them like that. Like you're not going to be averaging, 20, 30 yards a carry against actual defenses. I think Hawaii's defense was just terrible. They couldn't stop the run. Like I said, UCLA was not efficient passing the ball at all, other than one 44-yard touchdown pass. If you get rid of that, they're like averaging like 2 or 3 yards an attempt on pass plays. They ran the ball all over them in the first half, and yeah, so I don't think there's any reason to like read into this too much and think UCLA is going to be some powerhouse just because they ran the ball well in one game against a non-Power 5 opponent. Although I will give you that their defense looks pretty damn solid. So there's that. I mean, end of the day, it's Pac-12. The end of the day, it's the Pac-12. We know the rule of college football. Pac-12 and Big 12 don't play defense. So. Yeah, UConn looked really, really bad, which doesn't surprise me because they have not played a game in 2 years. Yeah. Was it game 45-0? What was it? Didn't I say my lock of the week was UConn under 16.5 points? Yeah, that hit comfortably. They got the ball across midfield twice. So I've got nothing else. I've got nothing else to say about that game. There's not a whole lot to say about that game, but UTEP UTEP coming in clutch with the cover. That was another one I had. Didn't watch any of that game, so I can't really speak on it. I think it was like 31-9 or something was the final score. But hey, San Jose State, I like them a lot. I think they're going to repeat as champions of the Mountain West. They are a team that I would look for to maybe be a 10 or so win team this year. Their head coach there, he was one of the ones I personally really was hoping Arizona would go after. Now I'm really happy with Jed Fish. I won't say too much about that. We can talk about it another time and what he's like building. But I really wanted Arizona to go after San Jose State head coach. He's, stayed there. Didn't, I'm sure if he got a Power 5 offer, it would have been different. But he's still there. They won the Mountain West last year. I think I love them to win the Mountain West again this year. And like I said, watch out for them to maybe be a 10 or even possibly an 11-win team this year. They're going to be dangerous. to meaningless football. Yeah, torn ACL out for the season. So if you're playing fantasy football, if Gus Edwards is available, take him. He's probably not at this point. You're probably too late, or somebody drafted him. But Gus Edwards should be running that backfield now. Well, the very small silver lining in that is they did end up pulling out a 37-3 victory to set their to extend their record of preseason wins to 20 now, I believe. I believe we're at 20. 20 straight preseason victories. You know, just well, yeah, it's been 5 years. I think it was 2016 or something was the last one they lost. Last time they lost the preseason game. So if you're better, if you're a fan of that, just have like we said at the beginning of preseason, just keep riding them until they lose. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and just it seems like one of those where it's like death taxes and the Ravens winning in preseason. Well, they hadn't uh, third string. I don't know if they technically announced who's second or third, but um, but they 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 Ellinger, Sam Ellinger, or Jacob Eason. You're combining the two names. Um, well, they also had one of their starting offensive linemen. I can't remember which one tore his ACL as well. So, um, if you're a Colts fan, I'm sorry for you. I mean, team's just been hit hard by the injury bug. If you're a Titans fan, you know, you're looking pretty. Other than just the fact that COVID's just running its way through that locker room. But good for them. It's preseason. They got another 2 weeks or so until they need to play a game. So hopefully that'll all be over with by then. Titans kind of were the catalyst for all the messing with the schedule shit last year because of COVID. Tennessee, Tennessee Titans, please just chill out, stop getting COVID. Um, the division is getting easier and easier by the day. Yeah, I mean they. I still wouldn't take under. I still wouldn't take under 8.5 for that Colts team. I mean, their defense is going to be pretty damn solid again, and um, their whole identity is running the ball anyways. It's just these offensive line injuries that I think are the biggest factor, more than Carson Wentz, more than Ty, more than anything else. It's these offensive line injuries are the ones that are going to hurt them. They had their starting O line out. They had their starting O line out against the Saints too, but no, I'm pretty sure they had their starting five when Trevor was out there against the Saints. Oh, 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 we knew what the Cowboys were going to be. I mean, there's no secret to it. If you got a healthy Dak and a healthy offensive line, the Cowboys they're a top five offensive production team and a bottom five defensive. Like that. That's why that just balances out to about a 500 record. Is because that's what they are. They're really good at scoring points and really good at allowing points. If you Yeah, I mean, I guess the only way the only part of that I disagree with is winning playoff games is better. Nobody cares if you're winning a playoff game 13-10. Problem is the Cowboys have not been able to win playoff games since literally the 80s or 90s or whatever. Probably the 90s, not the 80s. Um, and yeah, if you're not making the playoffs, if you're making the playoffs but you can't win playoff games, might as well just put on an offensive show because people like to watch that. That's how the NBA makes all its money, right? All offense, no defense. All gas, no brakes, baby. Pump it. Yeah. I was just gonna say, how about the NFC North? I don't know for sure. I haven't looked at the other divisions, but I got to imagine the NFC North definitely the worst through preseason. I mean, Lions, Vikings, Packers all 0-3. Bears pulled out 2 wins, but um, man, I mean, NFC North shining stars of the preseason to get you all excited about the regular season. Although not too worried about the Packers 0-3. Obviously, didn't play starters any of the games, so. Well, not only Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I mean, they didn't start anyone. Like they had Jordan Love back there behind their backup offensive line. So I don't even know if it's inaccurate. I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know if it. Well, Bakhtiari is not going to be back until like halfway through the season. Yeah, because he tore his ACL in practice prior to week 17 last year. So he's probably, yeah, so he's probably not back till like week 8 or 9, I think, is what they're looking at. But that's the best offensive lineman in the NFL. And if you want to argue, I mean, you could argue that he's the best, but he's, if I call him top 5, you can't argue that. But he's probably position wise, position wise, he's probably number 1 in the NFL for sure. And I'd argue he's the best offensive lineman in general in the entire NFL. So certainly the best at chugging beers, man. Oh, deleting beers. Well, what else? I mean, I was just gonna say, like, what else do you expect from a guy with a full fucking beard, long hair, wears the number 69? I mean, like, and he even well, and Bakhtiari too. He picked the number 69. He's one of those guys who picked the number 69, and he said he admitted to picking it because of the sexual innuendo, because he thought it was funny. And so we got a beard deleting, grizzly looking, very talented offensive lineman. Wears the number 69. Got a good sense of humor. I mean, what's not to love about Bakhtiari? I can't wait to get him back. One of my favorite things was this off season, like shortly after the season ended, there was like video of Bakhtiari's driving his truck. It's like I don't think it's like beat up or old, but like nothing too fancy. Aaron Rodgers sitting in the back with a fucking 30 pack of beer. Just yeah, some like fans, some like just somebody saw them driving and like pulls out their phone and like videoing Aaron Rodgers in the back of Bakhtiari's truck with a case of beer. Like I love it. Bak Man, Bakhtiari just seems like a great guy, man. He's someone I'd want to just be friends with. Hey man, I'm just saying he seems like personally like top 10 coolest NFL players. Like or sorry, maybe coolest is broad. Top 10, he's in the top 10 of NFL players I would want to hang out with. He's probably number 1. But if yeah, he's probably number 1 for me of like NFL players I would want to hang out with, that I would want to drink with. Because I'm not I'm not fanboying. I'm not fanboying it all over here. I'm talking guys that I genuinely just want to have like a good ass time with. I'm not being a fan. I'm not anything. I mean, man, Bakhtiari's got to be. He's. I can't think of anyone who would top him for my list. Joe Burrow would be tight. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of like current players. I mean, I, yeah, maybe. Jamal Williams, he's another guy who would be on my list. Obviously, former Packer, now on the Lions, but love the energy he always brought. I mean, dude's crazy. I'd love to spend a day with Jamal. Um, yeah, I don't know. I got to think more about this. I gotta comprise. I gotta think about this and comprise my list of my top 10 NFL players that I'd want to hang out with for the day. Our our top five that we would drink a 12 pack with, like 12 pack each. Like like you have a 12 pack, the player has a 12 pack. Yes, I'm setting those parameters because it is. Yes, we're making a day out of it. We're current players. Well, let's have some fun. Let's do five current players, one former. And I already know who my former one is. We're saving it for Tuesday, but I already know off like immediately who my former player is, and it's OJ Simpson. Just kidding. Probably not. No, I do have my one, and it's not OJ. Just to set the record straight. For legal purposes, that was a joke. Although he's out now, isn't he? Isn't he out now? Or he's always been out. He never got charged. Never mind. I'm thinking of somebody else. I don't know. Oh, well, and yeah, and for armed robbery, for trying to get his like memorabilia back. Just not for murder. Just not for the murder that he may or may not have blatantly committed, but you know. Is that is that like qualified to put him on suicide watch, or is that only if he's back in LA? Sorry, that was a bad joke. I strike that from the record. Just kidding. I'm not apologizing for that. Whatever. I did not. I was out on the links. Um, it was straightish. We did all right. We did all right. Hmm. Well, he's fighting for his job. Matt Nagy, man, Matt Nagy's a genius. I don't know what you're talking about. Did did you not did you not know that they're both on the Packers payroll? You're Taysom Hill, right? Is that what you meant? Yeah. I don't know what your fascination is with Jason Tatum, but he's clearly always on your mind. Big Celtics fan? Yeah, maybe. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're the same guy. They could have fooled me. No, I don't think they're going to do it in their regular season. I mean, you might see it like every now and then, but I don't think it's going to be a big thing. I just think, yeah, I was just going to say, I think with like the fact that you like there's a very real possibility that a third of the way through the season you're putting in Trey Lance as your starting quarterback. You're not going to throw him in extra sets and risk him getting injured on like some play where he's not even like doing anything beneficial for you. If that makes sense. Like Taysom Hill's a little bit different because like if you're the Saints, you're planning on starting Jameis the whole season unless he gets injured. Um, if you're anticipating a possible quarterback change, you don't want that guy that you're thinking about could be your starter for the second half of the season getting injured. So I don't see it really carrying you over too much. No, it'll be Dalton. It'll be Dalton week one. Uh, the question, I mean, just God, the fan pressure is going to be incredible though. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're not seeing Fields. Although the Bears have a tough couple first games, so I wouldn't be surprised if they. I mean, you don't want to throw him in against the Rams week one in LA. Arguably the best defense in the league. That's not a. That's what I'm thinking. That's